Hi everyone, I'm Edyta Sitar from Laundry Basket Quilt, and I am so excited to have you stop by and visit with me today for a little bit of mystery quilting. We are making block number 9. Number 9, oh my gosh, girls, I'm so happy. You are just flying through the blocks, moving along. We're making beautiful, beautiful blocks for your quilt. This block is super simple. Remember, I promised you a little surprise? Simple is what it is. We have to make 16 of block number 9. We're going to cut light half square triangles, 3 7/8. We need 4 of them for one block, and we're gonna cut dark half square triangles, 3 7/8. We need 4 of those. Half square triangles can be made 2 different ways. You can just do them the traditional way by sewing light to dark, and we have made already quite a few. But sometimes when you have to make a lot of that same half square triangle, I love to use triangle paper. So if you stuck at home and all that you have, just your fabric, go the traditional way, and I'm gonna show that way today in this video. But if you want to do something extra and you have this awesome 3-inch finish half square triangle paper sitting on your shelf, this is the one you need to grab it and make your half square triangle units with that one. If you need a little bit help, please go to our YouTube channel, watch the video for a tree farm. It teaches you how to make half square triangle units with the paper. I'm doing the traditional way because I'm being picky about it, where I'm pushing my seam allowance because I want all my seams to lock in. But for anybody that want to speed things up, go use triangle paper and it will work just great. We're gonna be making 4 triangle units for one block. You're gonna start, I'm going the traditional way, and I'm going to start by taking my light and a dark fabric, place them right sides together, and using nice skin 1/4 inch seam allowance, I'm gonna stitch it right down. Why do I use a little bit smaller 1/4 inch seam allowance? Just a tiny bit. I'm not talking, I'm talking just a 1 thread over, okay? Why? Because when I finish my units, I like to trim them down. And because I'm cutting the exact size, 3 7/8, I'm making my seam a little bit smaller, and I can still square things out. If you want to, you can cut your pieces at 4 inches, then cut them in half, sew it, and you have plenty of room to trim things up. All right, I'm going to sew it. And the next thing, as soon as you finish sewing, you're gonna have 4 beautiful units like this. I'm gonna separate them to the right and to the left. I did a little chain sewing, and guess what? I'm gonna push the seam allowance on half of them towards the light, and I'm gonna push the seam allowance towards the dark on the other half of them. Why am I doing this? Because I want my seams to lock when I'm sewing my units together. Let me show you what I'm talking about it. So right there, I know I want to make this beautiful block. I just finished my half square triangle units. I beautifully squared them out. Do not forget, use your 4.5 by 4.5 Creative Grids ruler. Perfect for squaring them out. Now I'm gonna place them right here, and I'm paying attention that I have one, that it's push the seam allowance towards dark. The opposite side, push the seam allowance towards light. Perfect. Let's do those. Now with those, I'm gonna have my seam allowance towards dark, seam allowance towards light. See? Now I'm gonna sew 2 rows. This to this, right sides together, just like this, starting from the top, using a 1/4 inch seam allowance, zoom, 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 then this one, right sides together, and notice because I pushed the seam allowance in opposite direction, they're locking so wonderfully. Zoom, 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 stitch, beautiful. As soon as I finish stitching, I can go ahead and open this up, push my seam allowance to the right, push my seam allowance towards the left in opposite direction, because I now take the two halves, place them together. Look how nice this look. I can now start sewing here, go through this X marks the spot where I normally would have it pinned, right there. Zoom, 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 finish things up, and in no time I'm going to have the most beautiful half square triangle block number 9. And if you can make one, you need to make 16 total. I'm so excited for you. Girls, you are gonna have that most beautiful glow to your quilt with those beautiful triangle unit. And I better get going on mine. I have few more to finish and a dinner to cook. Did you decide what you're cooking tonight? I think tonight is a perfect night for chicken soup. Oh, how wonderful. I have to make 16 total. I'm working on my quilt just like you do, and I can't wait for you to see the whole quilt and how beautiful it looks. Make sure you share with me your wonderful pictures. I'm a little bit lonely at home. I miss you guys, and I would love to see your picture. Post them on our Instagram, Facebook, hashtag Mystery Quilt 100, and I get to see all of those wonderful pictures. Leave us comment under the video. We love to hear from you. How are you doing? How are your blocks? And keep healthy and stay at home, and let's wait this out. Happy quilting, and I look forward to see you tomorrow.